AI Impact Summit?
Sorry?
Are you coming to Delhi for the India AI Impact Summit?
Okay, I have no idea about that, but I think for me it will be difficult because currently I'm in, yeah, so currently I'm in Patna. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. If you need, then I can share the invite with you. I'm just saying we are organizing
Mm-hmm.
we are organizing two sessions, and one
Mm-hmm.
of them is on 16th with the Adobe on
Okay.
workforce productivity.
Okay. Yeah,
So
so on what date do we have?
it is on 16th
16th of
uh,
Feb.
February. So
Okay.
if you want, like, since you're not coming, then it's
Yeah.
fine. I just thought I'll check with you.
Yeah. No, you can send me that, but I will check after that, right? So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, ma'am. I think A Devi ji, good evening. Good evening. How are you, ma'am? Good, good, good. How are you liking the sessions? And which college are you from? Which part of India are you from, A Devi ji? If you can put it in the chat, it'll be good to know. Welcome to all the faculty members. Yes. Yes, Vikas Chandra Sharma ji, good evening. Assessment is there on your group and you can take it anytime till Sunday. The only thing is that you need to score 70% and above for your Atal certificate. That's why we recommend that you finish the course and attend the lectures also so that you easily score that 70%. Yeah, the feedback form I'll share in the group. I will share. And no, there is no mock test, Sugandhi ji. There is no mock test. Vikas Chandra Sharma ji, you are from Swarnim Startup and Innovation University. It's great to have you. And if you want to introduce this course to your students also, please let me know. Please, you can message me or email me directly. And I'll be happy to offer this course to all your students also because I think it's a newer university. The name is such that is it a new university? Swarnim Startup and Innovation University. So you can take the assessment anytime before Sunday. Okay, so it's a relatively new, yeah. Okay, so Sugandhi ji, first thing is that there is no mock assessment. There's only in your group you have a course and you have the assessment. So that is the final assessment. And Vikas ji, you can reach out to me separately. I'll be happy to give any this course. Could you share future skills? Wait, wait, wait. I couldn't read that. There is a message from. Could you share future skills customer email ID so that we can communicate them about not opening assessment before last date? Yes, it is support at Future Skills Prime. One second, and you can copy me. I'm just putting it in the chat. In case you have an issue, please take a screenshot and send to support at future skills prime.in and copy me Kamna at nascom.in. So I think I've put it in the chat. You can. This is the mail ID. Dr. Mayank Sohani ji, you have raised the query regarding group. Still, I'm not able to get the group after. Okay. I'll now quickly tell you how you can access the group. You need to refresh the page, or you need to search for AICTE. with your registered email ID on Atal, because that's what we have created. I'm just, please, if you're all paying, I'll just wait for 1 more minute and then I'll show my screen. So this is Future Skills Prime. Okay, and as I told you before also, this this is the website and you need to log in here with your registered mail ID. Your groups are already created, but it's with your registered Atal mail ID. If you are using some other ID, it will not show. I have explained again also. Your registered email ID on Atal is your login ID also, and that email ID is your password also, and then you can reset your password. So I will log in. Now, I already have a login. So I'll just log in. When you go in groups, so you can see that I can't see anything if I just type groups, right? Now, if I just do this refresh, all my groups will come. I'll just refresh this page. So see, all the groups have come. This is in my groups. I have 24 groups. And but your group is this one, AICTE Atal Online FDP DAV STEM. Okay, this is your group. If you can see this group, please just type yes in the chat. If you can see this group, I think everyone is doing action and hurry. Wait, I'm. Yes, you can check. Right now, you can check. I think everyone is doing action and hurry in completion of imposed tasks or responsibilities. Yes. If you have completed assessment, Beningandala ji, then we will be getting the results by next Tuesday or Wednesday. And yes, you are right, Sanjay Patel ji. If you are just hurrying, then you will not be able to understand. You are right. Okay. Yes, feedback I will share with you the form in the group. I'll just share it. So when you go here, you have, as you can see, there is no mock assessment. So Kandiji, I want you to see very clearly. In this group, there is only one course, which is STEM, which you need to complete. This is a good to have, good to know. This is just for your general knowledge. If you want, you can complete this course and then this assessment. So Sugandhi ji, I hope that's clear now. There is no mock assessment in this group. You just follow your group. Just find your group and follow your group. Feedback link I'll share with you, but you'll also need to give the feedback on Atal. And none of you have sent me anything on video. I requested if you can record one small 1 minute video. No one has sent me any video. Right. So I'll just stop the sharing now. And our trainer is waiting very patiently. We cannot make him wait more. And thank you so much, Raj, for joining us.
Yeah.
He's
Hello.
joining us from Bihar, right?
Yeah.
So I'll hand it over to you. I'll request you to introduce yourself and then take the class. And I will see all of you guys at 7:30. Okay. So till then,
Okay.
you are with Mr. Raj Yadav.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Very good evening, all of you. Right. So again, see, since you have joined this session, right? So not just this sessions, right? So basically, since the beginning, right? So you have been learning a lot, right? So basically, you have learned about basics of machine learning, right? So you have learned about this. What is NLP? What is computer vision? What is prompt engineering? You have learned about this cybersecurity, data controls, right? You have learned about this cloud computing, how to handle data on the cloud, what are the edge computing, what are the tools, right? So again, you have also learned about what are the AI frameworks, right? So basically you have been kind of gaining a lot of skills about a lot of things, right? So it's like there are lot of things happening since 2 years, right? So earlier, maybe like before 2 years, the AI boom was very slow, it was very low, right? Again, I won't say that it was very low, but for the general people, right? So let's say that if you are kind of a faculty, so maybe you are kind of educating in some other skills. So you might not need to know about what the AI is. But at this point of time, so that is specifically in 2026, right? You need to know each and everything about AI. I'm not talking about the technical part. I'm talking about basics things, right? Because see, these things is going to be generals after 1 or 2 years, right? So it is very much similar to like how you know, like it's like you know how to open a word, how to kind of run an excel, these kind of stuff, right? So basically knowing this skill, it's not like it will give you boost, but it will take you to the forefront of the career or understanding of the new age technology, right? And again, you will also learn a lot about from this session. So basically, specifically we'll be talking about what the data is, we'll be talking about how do we store data in the cloud, we'll be talking about the this different verticals of the data, we'll be talking about how people handle data if you have this huge amount of data, right? So let's say that when you are using a chat gpt, now those chat gpt is being, it's like it is being, a lot of data was used to train that ChatGPT models, right? So if you are not understanding what I'm saying, like training the ChatGPT model is, it's all about just making that ChatGPT more powerful, right? So to all the AI based model, all the AI based stuff, right, needs more data, needs powerful data, needs evaluated data, right? And today we are going to learn everything about the data, right? So let's get started. Let me just share the screen. uh, Wait a minute. Okay, let me just share the entire screen, if, right? And I hope everyone can see the screen, right? Great. Uh-oh, wait a minute, just give me a minute. Just, yeah, great. Now again, so, yeah, so everyone, good evening. This is Raj Yadav, right? And basically, so it's like my native is Patna, Bihar, but we live in Gujarat. So basically, I do frequently travel from Patna to Gujarat and all these things, right? Now, about my career, basically, I have total more than 8+ years of experience in training specifically about data science, data, data engineering, ML, AI, all those stuff, right? So I help the candidate to get a job in this field, right? So let's say that there are many people, right? So let's say that you have this, you have, like you are working in a university or an institutions, but your candidate, so the actual syllabus of whatever we are learning in the colleges, right? So they are not very much updated for, I'll say that it is not very much updated uh, for the new age job market, right? So basically we the people who guide them with the project so that they can understand the actual scenario, what happens in the actual job market and what the AI is, how people are using AI, how people are using data in their own job market, right? So basically we are the trainer who help them get the job done, or who help them to kind of understand the technology and build a project around that technology, right? So again, today we'll be talking about everything about the data. First we'll be talking about what are data. So again, when we talk about the data, right? So data is any kind of information, but there are other terms, right? So again, I don't know whether you are aware of, whether you are aware about or not, but this term called big data, this came, I guess, around 2017, right? It was kind of a buzzword at that point of time, right? Which so one of the institutions called, I think that was the Stanford or a Harvard. So I do not remember, but any one of those, they have published this big data concepts in their newsletters, right? So big data refers to as storing and handling a huge amount of data, right? And again, why this thing is needed? This thing is needed because we see every day. See, you just think about a scenario of 5 years ago, maybe before COVID. People were using kind of this edge devices like mobile phone or laptop or website or everything, but they were not frequently constantly kind of using these devices. So basically, when we use mobile phone or when we use computer or when we interact with the website, when we interact with the applications, indirectly we are creating a data. Think about, you are a scrolling Instagram web page, right? And then you hit a like button over there. So when you hit the like button, this means that, so this data has been generated, that you have interacted and you have liked that information, that video or that post or that images or anything, right? So basically, it's not like, basically these applications are pushing you to generate more data, right? And as we have the huge amount of data, so we need to understand those data. So basically, to understand this data, so data have the, so these data have the basically four verticals. So first vertical is the volume, second vertical is the velocity, third vertical is variety, and the fourth vertical is veracity. So when I'm talking about the volume, this means that the how huge this data is, right? And when we talk about the velocity, this means that at what speed this data is being generated and created, right? And when we talk about the variety, this means that in what different form we create the data. Basically, we create a image data, we create a graph data, we create a kind of structured data, or like unstructured data, right? So these are the different form of data we have. And when we talk about the veracity, that means how accurate the specific data is. So basically, when a company store those data, they store by taking these four vertical into the considerations. They understand what are the different variety of data is being generated. They understand at what speed this data is being generated, and based on that, they understand that at how much volume they are generating, right? So how much volume do we want to be to need it to store those data, right? And they also understand at what, like, should we trust this information or not, should we trust this data or not, right? Now the question comes, why does this big data matters? Why are we already storing? And actually, I have already given you the hint about this. So we use this data, not we, but the most of the organization uses this massive amount of data just to grow their business. They have their one sole purpose, to grow their business. And to grow their business, basically it's like, see, whenever any businesses comes, right? So basically people, so there are only one type of businesses, it's a tech, and so I'll say that it's like someone is selling to someone, right? So basically, here, since we have to know a specific customers, right? So these data help organizations to understand about the customer. Basically, these data help to understand the pattern and the trends of the data, right? Pattern and the trends in a data, right? Which help them to make a smarter and evidence based decisions. Think about, you have launched a product, and this product has been marketed via the Instagram or a Facebook or a LinkedIn or any social media, right? We already have this two or three kind of renowned social media, right? But once you launched it, people is not interacting those ads, people is kind of bypassing those ads, people is not clicking a specific link for that ad. So basically this means that either the product is a fail or either the advertisement is not done properly. So basically, as an organization, you understand what is happening to your businesses, right? And there are few, I would say that few companies or a few genre of businesses here we have, like we can use data to improve the healthcare, right? So basically we can understand and we can analyze the data to kind of, so let's say that a doctor is consider a scenario, right? So let's say that a new disease has come up, right? And many people have affected. Think about a COVID, right? So the doctor will try the different patterns of the kind of treatment, right? And based on that patterns, right, people analyze that what patterns kind of affect or what kind of scenario. So basically this help us to improve the healthcare, right? Now these data help us to understand the customers. Consider that we analyze the purchasing. Basically, this help us to analyze the purchasing behavior, right, of the client or of the customers, right? Consider a scenario, this data is being used in a banking or finance, right? So let's say that this banking and finance help us to help use this data to understand whether this person should be given a loan or not, or whether this specific transaction is a fraud transaction or not, right? Let me know if you have any query. All of you can put in a chat if you have any query. Now, before we have discussed about the data a lot, but let's go back and let's see the data at the atomic levels. So there are total two flavor of the data. That means there are total two type of data. One is quantitative data, other one is qualitative data, right? So what is quantitative data? So this data is measured by a number. So any data which can be measured as a numbers, like a sales data, how many sales have been done, like percentage, how much percentage this revenue has growth, how many people have visited a specific website, how many times up this email has been clicked. So these are called quantitative data. Basically, it you can measure this informations via numbers. Then we have qualitative data. These type of data are subjective and it cannot be measured via numbers. Like a people is giving a review to a specific product, people is interacting with the social media. Now interacting with the social media is not a numerical data, it is a qualitative data. Let's say that you are filling any survey response, right, or any kind of form. Now filling those forms and understanding what is there in the form is a qualitative data, right? So when you know whether you are dealing with the numbers or whether you are dealing with this qualitative type of informations, right? This will help you to understand how to analyze that data, right? So we have a two type of data, quantitative and qualitative. Now, based on those informations, we have three type of analytical insight. That means we can analyze those informations at a three pillar or at a three level. One is descriptive analysis, other one is diagnostic analysis, and third one is predictive analytics. Now, when I'm talking about this descriptive analytics, this means that we are taking the past informations and understanding what is there in that what is there in that specific informations. Like let's say that you have collected information about a product sales, right? And now at the end of the month you want to know how many sales was there, so that is called descriptive analytics, right? And now what is diagnostic analysis? So it's like we are going deeper inside that understanding. That means if the sales has growth, then what reasons leads to growth in a sales? If the sales has declined, then what reasons leads to decline in the sales? So once you know the root cause, then you will be able to figure out how to improve your business. Let's say that you have find out that advertising on a specific platforms help you to boost your business a lot, so you will do more advertisement maybe the next month, right? So that is called diagnostic analytics. and the third one is predictive analysis. Now, this predictive analytics, that means here we are talking about what will happen in the future, right? So, descriptive analytics is all about the past information. Diagnostic is all about understanding why a specific event is behaving like that using the past informations. And the predictive analytics is all about predicting the future informations. Like using the historical data, we want to understand how many sales we'll have in the next month or how many sales we have in the next quarter. That is called predictive analytics. Right? So now we have discussed about the two type of data, and then we have discussed about how do we analyze those data at the three different level: descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive. Now, to do these kind of analysis, we have six essential techniques, right? So to perform descriptive, either the diagnostic or either the predictive analytics, we have the powerful techniques, right? Now these techniques are A/B testing, regression analysis, data mining, cluster analysis, time series, and natural language processing, right? Now, now the question comes, what is A/B testing, what is regression analysis, and what is data mining and all these techniques? So let's see one by one. Now, this A/B testing, regression analysis, and data mining are the core technique which help us to understand the patterns of the data, right? Or which help us to understand the relationship and the pattern of the data. Now, what the A/B testing is and how you can perform the A/B testings. So basically, this testing or this technique is being used to compare the two group of informations or compare a two type of advertisement. Let's say that you want to market a specific kind of services, right? Now for that services, you have pushed a ad to the LinkedIn, but those ad is not performing well, so you might send another ad. Maybe you might kind of I'll say that like you might push that ad in a different way, right, in a different form. So basically here we are comparing which ad is performing better in the market. So here we are comparing a two type of information, that is called A/B testings. And the primary goal of this A/B testing is to identify the effective version of marketing assets. So let's say that you have the web page, right? And now you want to understand which web page is kind of better, right? So you can do the A/B testing. You can test whether this specific product feature is good or not, right? So these are called the A/B testings. Now, what is regression analysis? Now, this is a statistical method to understand the relationship between two and more variables, right? And again, a typical example is, let's say that if you are spending a lot on an ad, and based on that spending, how much sales you are getting. So it's like how many money you have spent on a specific ad and how much sales you are drawing from that. Now, if you want that kind of things, then you should do the regression analysis, right? Do we have any query, all of you? Please put in a chat if you have any query. Now, what is data mining, right? Now, this data mining is also very much similar to the statistical method, and it is, I'll say that, one of the core machine learning technique which help you to find a, I'll say that, a pattern in a data, right? This help you to understand the hidden pattern of the data. This help you to understand, let's say that if the customer is returning your product or if the customer is giving a bad review, now you want to understand what is there, why the customer is returning our product, why the customer is giving bad review, right? Now, if you want to do that, you can use data mining for that, right? Now these are the core technique we have. Now this cluster analysis and time series and NLP, these are the advanced technique we have, right? Now what is cluster analysis? So this technique is all about grouping the data, right, based on the similar elements. Consider a scenario. Let's say that a new services have been launched, or let's talk about the product. A new product has been released into the market, right? Now, that product will be feasible for which type of customer? How would you know that? Not everyone is going to buy your product. Now, there you have to filter out, you have to make some clarifications that which people might be kind of liking this product. So, what you will do, you will use this cluster analysis and then group a different kind of people. So, this cluster analysis will help you to group the data, and those group of the data will have the similar features, right? So it will help you to segment the data, and based on that, right, let's say that your product is feasible for the prime customers, right? So you will group the data and then you will filter out these group of people is going to like my product, so you will advertise on those group of peoples. That is what the cluster analysis is. It's all about segmenting the information, or segmenting the data into the smaller groups. Then we have time series analysis. Now, what is time series analysis? Here in the time series analysis, we analyze the informations based on timestamp. Now, what is timestamp? So let's say that we have collected the data. Let's consider we have collected how many money you have spent per day, right? So here you are collecting the money, and you are also collecting on what date how many money was spent on the ad. Now these kind of information, where we have this temporal informations. Temporal means you have the date informations, right, or time based informations. These type of data can be analyzed using time series analysis, right? So basically our primary goal of these analysis is all about understanding the trend. It's all about understanding the cycle in a data. It's all about understanding the different variation of the data, right? So consider a scenario: a sales might go high of a product at a specific event. Maybe let's say that, again, you might have seen that, right? So our gold price goes increase during the Diwali vacations, or not vacation, but during the this Diwali seasons. Why this happens specifically in India? Because we people like to buy gold at a specific time period, right? So these type of information you can collect using time series analysis, right? Now again, let me know, all of you, if you have any query in via chat. Then we have this natural language processing. Now, what is this natural language processing? So this is a different field of machine learning and AI which help you to understand the text data, right? So again, this enables the it's like, let's say that we have the text data, and now you want to understand what is there in that text data. So you have to, you can use the NLP based of algorithms to do this kind of task. So to understand that text, let's say that if you want to generate any text, then also you use the NLP. So all your AI, or like favorite AI like ChatGPT or Gemini, or a Perplexity, or like any AI things, right? They are part of NLP algorithms, right? Now, what we have discussed till now? So we have discussed why we should care about the data, right? How company uses the data, with what are the different form of data. Then we have discussed about what are at what three level we can understand the data. Then we have discussed about there are multiple toolkits or multiple techniques we have to understand those data. Then we did discussed about these three technique: AB, regression, and data mining. And then we have, after that, we have discussed about clustering analysis, time series, and natural language processing, right? Someone is putting in chat. Oh, good evening. Good evening, Mohit. Right. Now, now do so we do have a proper kind of I'll say that a different steps to do all these tasks. Let's say that if you want to do the A/B testing, or if you want to do the clustering technique, or if you want to apply the NLP on the text data, we have the 5-step path, right? Which help you to get insights or get understanding from the informations, right? Now, the first and foremost step is we have to understand and we have to get a clarification about the questions, right? See, again, I have seen this many times. Many industry, let's say that they are trying to find something in a data, but the actual thing they do not know. They cannot reframe their I'll say that their findings. So basically, most of the time they do not know what they are finding. They cannot rephrase it in a clear forms, right? So this is the one of the most important step we have to get a proper question or get a clear question what kind of information you are looking for. And based on that questions, you will collect the data. So based on the question, let's say that you want to figure it out why this movie got failed, why people are not liking this movie. So again, here we have the clear questions. We want to understand why people are not liking this movie. Now we know that when we talk about the movie and we can get the information what people are talking about the specific movie as in the text form, because you will do a different social media, people will be kind of commenting about the movie, people will be giving review about the movie, there will be the lots of review video or like hate video or like hate text, there will be a lot of stuff, right? So you need to collect all the informations about that specific movie. And since we know, we need to collect a different form of data. Some will be the rating, some will be the text, right? So we'll be collecting qualitative data, or we will be collecting the quantitative data based on what type of questions we are solving. So the second step is collect the data. Then the third step is clean the data. Now, the way we get the data from the internet, those information is always approximately 99% of the time it's not usable. So we need to clean the data, right? Now, after we clean the data, we need to analyze the data. So basically, we need to apply the different techniques. So after cleaning, we will apply the NLP over here. So we will apply natural language processings. Now, those natural language processing will help you understand about the text, what is there in the text, what people are talking about, why people are hating about, what sort of the essence of the movie is not liked by people, whether the so basically you will get to understand every aspect about that movie by analyzing those text informations. And then at last we have to kind of reformat your answers or reformat your finding in a I'll say that so basically you have to convert those finding in a more meaningful way, that is called sharing the results, right? So these are the 5 steps we have, right, to if you want to solve any problems using data, right? Now now at that final step, we need to turn those analysis into a graph. Let's say that again, here we have discussed in the form of movie, but let's say that if you are trying to find any business outcomes, right, why the outcome is this, like why we are failing, why the sales is being increased and all those stuff. So you need to show your finding to the stakeholders. So stakeholders means you need to show that finding to the manager or MD of the company. So you need to say that our company was growing at this specific rate because of this event was happening. Our company was going, so our sales was going down because of this specific things. So you need to show this in a proper chart and graph format. And for that we have the two tools called Tableau and Microsoft Power BI. These two tools are interactive tools, right? You can build a dashboard using the data, you can transform your data as a dashboards into a simple visual forms, right? So yeah, so these are the few things we have which help you to understand about the data or give more information about the data, right? Now, do we have any query, all of you? Please put in a chat. Do we have any query about the any stuff, whatever we have discussed? No? Great. Now, now we'll be talking about the model toolkits, right? So now we want to understand how, so see, storing the data, making informations or extracting information from the data, or kind of passing the data to the other platforms, right? So these things are the critical steps. So not any single tool can handle these steps. So it's like we have the multiple framework, or we have the multiple tool for the multiple task, right? So first we'll talk about this foundational framework. So consider a situations, right? You want to store and process the data at a scales. Let's say that you are working your organizations, right? Or is trying to store all the informations they want to do, right, whatever this happening according to their businesses, right? Now if you want to store that a lot of information, so again you cannot store in the hard disk always, right? You cannot store in the PC always. You need to have some mechanism, some sort of databases, and to handle the big data specifically for storing and processing purpose, we have a tools called Apache Hadoop, and this is an open source framework, right, which help or which handle the big data very efficiently, right? Again, it will also have like this also have the many feature, like it has a feature of distributed data storage, scalable architecture it has, and the fault tolerance. That means when we talk about this distributed data storage, this means that you can store huge amount of data, right, across multiple machines. So again you will also have this multiple copy of a machine, right? Then we have the scalable architectures. So when we talk about this, we have a chart. Okay, great. Now, when we talk about this scalable architecture, this means that you can, let's say that at first we have a very low amount of information. So for that, we do not need a huge infrastructure. We need a very small set of infrastructure. So we have built it. But let's say that as the time grows, the company grows, we need to store more informations, right? Now, when we need to store more informations, this means that we need to add more, or like we need to in I would say that enhance our infrastructure, or like scale our infrastructure. For that you can easily multiple machines over there or multiple node, so that you can store more information. It's like we have it's like we are storing our personal stuff in our computer, but sometimes we want a huge upgrade in our to kind of store, I would say that this older form of data. So what we do, we buy a SSD or a hard drive, and then we store those information on that hard drive. So it's like we are scaling our infrastructures, right? So similarly, to store more informations, right, we need to add more machine, or we need to add more hard disk. So this Apache Hadoop is very much highly scalable, so you can easily do that. And it is also fault tolerance. When I'm talking about the fault tolerance, so what happens is when you store any informations, now the copy of that information is being distributed to the different systems. So if one system fails, you have a copy of that information on the different systems, right? So you will never lose the informations. That's the reason it is fault tolerance, right? So this is about how we store and process the data at a scale level, right? Now, let's say that if you need a speed in your infrastructure, right? So you need to do the real-time data pre-processings, right? Now, when we talk about the real-time data pre-processing, for that we have a two different type of system, Apache Storm and Apache Flink. Now, this Apache Storm is a distributed fault tolerance system, right, for the real-time computations, right? So if you want the real-time computations, so basically it's like message goes up and then you are processing that message. Then you should use the Apache Storm. Then we have the Apache Flink, which is also this scalable engine. You can scale it for lower latency streaming processing. So it's like when I'm talking about the lower latency, it's like when you send a message to a person on a WhatsApp, that person immediately sees that message. That is called lower latency. Let's say that when you are sending a message and that message is being reached to the user, but not instantly, but maybe after 1 minute or after 2 minutes or something like that. Now that is not, I'll say that this scalables. That is not low latency, right? So again, we need to understand what kind of structure or what kind of database we want, right? Right. Now this Apache Storm is again have high throughput. That means you can process a huge amount of data, right, at one time. Again, this Apache Flink is very much good at streaming and batch processing. So it's like, so again, when I'm talking about this streaming, so you, I think all of you are familiar with this streaming stuff. Let's say that when you click on your favorite OTT, maybe the Netflix, right, you instantly just start looking at the whatever this movie or like whatever the source that you want to see. That is called streaming. The way the information comes up, you are kind of processing or that information is being displayed. That is what the streaming is, right? Yeah, so based on what information we have to use a specific type of database, right? Traffic will increase, yes, correct. Now, let's talk about beyond tables. So again, consider the situations. Again, we have been talking about storing. Again, when we talk about the database, we specifically think about database as in the form of tables. But in the modern world, database is not just a table. So the table data in the form of table is very low, right? Most of the data is being generated as a text, most of the data is being generated as image, right? We need a NoSQL. For that we need a NoSQL database, right? Now for NoSQL database, right, we have a different database like Apache Cassandra and the CouchDB, right? Now Apache Cassandra is highly scalable data. It is perfect for any applications that cannot afford to lose data. So it's like yeah, so if you want to build any applications, right, and you do not want to lose the this informations, right, so this database might also have some other features, right, so then you should use the Cassandra, right? And if you want to store or need a reliable database which is flexible and it store this information in the JSON format, then you should use the CouchDB. Again, different databases have their different requirement, right? Now, the primary benefit of Apache Cassandra is it is highly available, right? It achieved by replicating data across the multiple centers, right? So basically, it copies the data into the different nodes, into the different centers, right? But the CouchDB is a totally different type of data, right? So it's like you can work in the offline setup. You do not need to be an online, right? It is a good for any mobile applications, right? It is good for any things, right, which is edge devices, right? So the CouchDB, if you want, you can kind of, let's say that if you are building the applications, right, which need a huge amount of data, but you need to be the offline as well, so you can use CouchDB for that, right? How to reduce the congestions? Can you be more specific, Vanisari, Dr. K. Vanisari? Can you be more specific how to reduce congestions? Yes. Again, all of you, if you have any query, please do ask. Please do ask in a chat, right? Okay, traffic congestion in the data. This is what you are saying, right? Again, so again, let's say that get data. Oh, no, okay, okay. So when we duplicate the data, this is so duplicating the data, it's like we are storing the same information to the different node. But when we extract the data or when we access the data, this does not mean that you are accessing through all the copy of the data. No. So you will have the copy of the data. It will be ideal at some place. But if any system get failed, that you can access from there, right? So that is what happens, right? So again, sometimes it also happens that one database have the multiple information copy, right? Make sense? Okay, in this case, so when you are talking about the traffic, it is increased, then I'm guessing that you are talking about when we have the huge amount of data and then we are still replicating and making the copy of the data. For that, so these databases are scalable, have the scalable architecture. So we need to add more node, we need to add more systems, we need to invest in our infrastructure more. That is what happens. Make sense? I hope this have answered your questions, right? Now, what is the difference between Apache Hadoop and Apache Cassandra? Both are doing the same thing. Yes. See, Hadoop was, I'll say that it's being, it's like used at the older version. So, right. So it's like a very good polished system, right? Which was specifically designed at first, right? And it is the open source, right? But then what was the this Apache Cassandra, right? Then when you talk about this Apache Cassandra, right, you might not be using Cassandra for storing the very huge amount of data or very big data, right? It is like, let's say that, I hope this is answering the questions, right? Yes. You cannot use this Cassandra for a huge amount of data, right? Yes. Great. Again, all of you, please do answer, do ask the question if you have any query, right? Now, let's say that if you do not want to set up all the databases and everything, right? So for let's say that you want a complete solutions, right? With the price. So you can use that. So we have this multiple complete solution, like we have the Joho Analytics, right? Which provide end-to-end solutions for all the analytical tasks, right? So this Joho Analytics is a self-service business intelligence platforms, right? It has the AI, so it has this AI enables it. Let's say that if you want to use some specific component, it has this drag and drop facility, right? So you can kind of see the screen, and let's say that if you want a kind of specific database, you can simply drag and use it. Again, there is a bit of learning, but it is very much usable, right? So you do not need to set up every infrastructure on your own. You do not need to do that. You can use this kind of platform. Then we have the Cloudera, which is again secure and scalable enterprise for managing this big and complex workflow, big data workflow, right? And this is specifically working with the big data workflow because, see, let's say that some company have their information on the Azure, some company have their information on the different cloud like the AWS. So if you want to kind of combine those information from the different platforms, right? So you can use Cloudera for that, right? You can run a multi-cloud. So basically it is a multi-cloud environment platforms, right? You can also run this Cloudera on in premises. That means you are like, it's like you are setting up infrastructure, but then you are also managing your data, right? Now, how do we convert our big data into a wise informations, right? For that, let's again talk about, so again, here we'll be specifically talking about how the data mining is being useful in the industry. Again, what is data? So data is nothing but any pictures is a data, any numbers is the data, any text is the data, right? You are interacting with the social media, that is data. You are sending some money via UPI, that is a data, right? So yeah, everything is data, but those data is not meaningful if it is unscattered. If it is unscattered, that means data is non-useful if it is not managed, right? So it is just the noise. So what is data mining? It is simply converting the noise data to the meaningful data. That is what the data mining is. And sometimes we also call this data mining as a knowledge discovery from data. We call this as a KDD process, right? Now, so what are the blueprint we have for the KDD process? First, we need to collect the informations. We need to gather the informations, not just information, but gather the relevant informations from the different databases, from the website, from the social media or anything, right? Then we do process that data, because when we collect the data from the internet or the different databases, we usually do get the data into a different format, right? So basically all the data have some noise in it, so we need to transform it and make it usable for our own purpose, right? So let's say that you have collected this information, and those information is in the text data or is in the text form. So what is meaning over here? We cannot use that text data into like into some any machine learning algorithm. We cannot do that. We need to transform it into a numbers, and that is what that pre-processing is. Then we use the techniques. That means we try to understand the pattern in a data. Basically it's like we are using a machine learning. Using technique or applying technique is all about using a machine learning, right? Then we evaluate what we have found. So again, we should never trust the machine. We know that, right? So whatever the machine gives you, you first evaluate whether the machine is giving you the right output or not, and then we deploy it. So these are the five pillars of finding information from any type of knowledge, right? Now, this data miners have the different tools as well, right? So again, we'll be talking about a few tools like classifications, clustering, association, and the predictions. Again, when we talk about the classification, it's all about sorting the informations into a known group. So it's like we have the multiple, let's say that, so again, as an example, I'll say that you have this review of, not review, let's say that as an example, let's say that you have a picture of multiple animals, right? So let's say that you have the picture of dog, you have this picture of cat or like other animal, right? So you are building a models which can identify that whether this picture belong to cat or dog. So that is what the classification is. Basically it's like we are classifying the information based on what type of information we have, but here we do provide what type of information is. So the information for the model or for the algorithm is not unknown, it's known, right? Now what is clustering? So in the clustering we have the informations, but we do not have what is there in the information. So we do not have more about this information. So basically we use a clustering. What the clustering will do is it will try to kind of make separation of the known information at one group. So basically it will try to separate the information into a groups, right? And when you look at the one group, the similar kind of example will be there in one group. So it's like now as a human you have to figure it out what is there in that group data. Then we have this association techniques. Now in the association we try to find how two product is correlated, or how the sales of two product is correlated, or how the two event is correlated, right? Then we have the predictions. Now in the predictions we try to figure it out how to, it's like we are predicting the futures, right? So based on what information we have, what will be the next sales, that is what the prediction is, right? Now the technique for grouping data. Now again we have the two technique. One is classification, other one is clustering. I've already discussed about the classifications, right? So the purpose of the classification model is to, so basically here we build a model that sort new data into a predefined category. It's like, again, as an example, I would say that, let's say that we want to classify whether the network traffic as a normal traffic or a suspicious traffic, right? So it's like, let's say that you are, like, again, you might have heard about this, right? That some website is slowed down, or like some website is kind of hacked or something like that. So basically what happens is, some people, right, who do not like someone's business, right, what they does, they try to push a lot of traffic to their, to a one website, and that website goes down because they cannot handle the multiple visit at one time, or a millions of visit at one time. That is what the intrusion detection system is. Now, the clustering. Now, the purpose of this algorithm is group the data or group the similar data together. Right here, you do not know about the data, but we still group the similar data together. Right now, as an example, I would say how the company is using these technique, right? So again, let's say that a bank will analyze the transaction information, and based on that transaction, let's say that you, like, in your account every month a kind of 1,50,000 comes up, maybe at whatever form, maybe a salary or like whatever the thing, and you do not spend much, right? So bank will offer you something else. Basically bank will offer you that you can save the money, you can put in FD or something like that, right? But let's say that if in your account money comes up but you still spend that money frequently, that means you are getting 1,50,000 but you are spending 1,20,000. That means a bank will have the signal that this person is have the higher spending kind of habits. So basically bank will offer you a different kind of credit card. So based on these, based on what usage behavior, people or like different businesses is kind of targeting you, right? This is what the group of, like, this is what the taking this grouping technique we have. Now we'll talk about finding the connection and forecasting the outcome. So what is finding connection? So again, first we'll talk about associations. Now this association technique is all about, we just want to understand if this product is being sold, what is the percentage of this other product will also be sold, right? So here it's like, let's say that when you go to, like we always do, right, we wake up in the morning, most of the people in India, we wake up in the morning and we go to the shop to buy a milk, and we do not just buy milk, right? Most of the, again, our main purpose is to buy milk, but at least 50% of the time we often buy some other snacks with the milk, maybe breads, maybe other kind of snacks. So basically those two product is highly correlated, right? And we use association technique to find those kind of relationships, right? So basically in the retail industry this technique is being used a lot, right? So here a technique called market basket analysis, which intensely use this association technique, which try to discover patterns of a customers, whether if the customer buy product A, whether it will also buy product B or not, right? So that is what the association is. Now, what is predictions? Again, prediction means simply by looking at the future, by looking at the historical information, or by looking at the current information, we try to predict the futures, right? So it's like, as an example, I'll say this: a bank is trying to forecast the next quarter sales, or we are trying to predict whether this customer is likely to have this specific loan or not. That is what the forecasting is. We are trying to predict the futures, right? Now let me know, all of you, do we have any query later? Yes? No? Please put in a chat if you have any query, all of you. No? Great. Now we'll talk about how data mining is being used in the industry, right? So one of the industry that we'll talk about, finance and insurance. So in the finance, we try to identify the fraud transactions in the real time. So again, we use this technique called anomaly detections, right, which try to spot whether this specific transaction is uh, kind of very much different than the normal transaction or not, right? So this is a big challenge in the finance company, or like maybe a bank, right, who does not understand whether this transaction is anomaly or not, right? Based on that, we try to reduce this financial loss, right? We try to improve the customer trust, right? So there are a lot of things that we can get as an outcomes by detecting or solving these problems. Now we have this insurance company. Now this insurance company have a challenge to market a loan, right? And they do not want to market a loan to everyone. They do want to marketing a loan to a person who is likely to buy that loan, right? And this is a big challenge. They do not know which person is will have the or which person needs this loan or not, right? And the solution for this technique is the solution for this problem is we use so basically we analyze the customer transactions, right, and identify that whether this customer is have the higher transaction or not, right? If this customer have the higher transaction, then this customer is likely to buy a loan, right? And again, based on that, so what is the outcome for this? Basically, we can do the target marketing. If you know that this person is likely to have the loan or this person needs the loan, you can directly call them. A bank can directly kind of target those person. They can increase the sales or like, yeah, all those things, right? Then let's talk about e-commerce and the retail industry. Again, we have already discussed about this market basket analysis, right? We must need to know, like again, this retail industry needs to know which product is being bought frequently, right? And using this, so basically for that they use this association analysis to kind of identify whether two product is being sold or not. And once they know that these two product will be kind of sold directly, or like these two product is being sold frequently or together, so what they will do, they will put both product side by side. So when you visit any superstore or anything, what you do, basically, you let's say that you just want to buy a butter, but then you see the bread, so you will also buy the bread because these two products is being bought together, right? So a shopping mart or all those things, they can improve their store layout, right? They can do the more selling, they can add an offer, right, that if you buy these two product, you will have 10% discount or you will have 5% discount and so on, right? Then we'll talk about how the e-commerce industry, how this e-commerce industry use this technique or use data mining. Now, one of the big challenge for the e-commerce industry is they want to have a personalized shopping experience to everyone, to the every customer. Again, and the people are using it. Let's say that when you open up the Amazon or a Flipkart, what happens? Your dashboard is a different, your friend's dashboard will be different, because they will list out those product only which is being liked by you. They will market those product only which they think that you are likely to buy or you will buy this product. Or so basically they are trying to make a shopping experience much better, right? So that is the big challenge we have, and they use data mining for that. Basically they use a kind of what is the like what was that thing you have bought in a past. Let's say that in the past I have bought, or let's consider a scenario, you are buying the iPhone, but since you are buying the iPhone again, and then you are a first time customer of buying the iPhone, again definitely you will buy the charger, you will buy the cables, you will buy the case cover or like other stuff as well, right? So there are multiple gadgets we have around the iPhone. What they will do, So they will know that earlier you had Android, but now you are buying the iPhone. So they will market, they will bundle all those products together, and then they will market with the maybe some discount or the other thing, right? So basically they can use this kind of stuff, right? They can increase the sales by doing so. Any questions, all of you? Hello. Please put in a chat if you have any query. No question from Dipti. How about others? Kanchan, no query? Great. Now we will, great. No question, I guess. Now we will discuss about how the data is being stored in the modern world, right? So now, so there are different kind of data warehouses we have. And mostly there are three type of data warehouses based on what our task is, right? So we have a data warehouse as a data lake. So we have a data lake, data warehouse, and data mart. Now, what is data lake? You can think of data lake as a massive storage box, right? So where, let's say that you have give me a minute, all of you. Yeah. Let's say that you have a huge box, and everyone have a huge box in our home, right? We have a box where we can put everything. We do not know whether we will use that specific product or not, or whether that specific things or not, but still we keep that, right? And we do this every Diwali, right? As an Indian, right? What we do, we clean our house, and now we know that we already know that there are certain things in our home which is not being used, not even a one day throughout the whole year, but we still keep it. We do want to keep it. That is what the data lake is. So that kind of storage is like a data lake where we put every pieces of informations, right, as it is. We do not keep track of what information we have. We get it until we do not see it, right? Then we have the other type of storage called data warehouse, right? Now data warehouse is kind of categorized type of warehouse. You can think of as an library, right, where we have the category, and for every category we have this are different books, right? So basically, let's say that you are talking about the literature, so all the books related to literature will be kept at that category, right? So basically this is much more cleaner than the data lake, right? And that is what the data warehouse is. And then we have the data mart. Let's say that now this data mart is a very small warehouse you can think of, right? Let's say that you want to store information for the specific purpose. Think about a scenario. You are working in the HR company, like you are in as an HR, working as a HR in the organizations, right? Now since you are working as an HR, you only need to access the HR related information. Now for that you can create a data mart, right? So every informations, so it's like we are collecting the similar kind of information in just one box, right? Now we'll talk about data lake more. So it is like a vast reservoir for a raw data, right? It is like a centralized repository where we store a huge amount of data in its original form. So basically, it's like we get the data, and as it is, we store the data in that, right? There is no structure, nothing is there, right? Now, what is the benefit of such warehouse or such type of databases? The benefit is we can store any form of data, any form of unknown data, right? Like picture, text, video, tables, any form of data you can put, and which potentially can be used for the future, right? But it is also cost effectiveness, since we do not like, since we use these kind of informations not very much frequently, maybe once in a year or twice in a year or once in a month, right? So for that we choose a very low cost data, right? We use inexpensive cloud object storage to store this kind of informations, right? And now these type of information, huge informations, right, is being used for the, I'll say that for building a model, or like for doing some analysis, or like for doing some research and everything, right? So mostly people use these kind of information for AI and machine learning stuff, right? But there are big risk we have, right? So it can work like a data swamp. Basically, since you have stored the data into the warehouse, but you do not know how to access those data. So what happens is, and let's say that if you have forgot that we have stored this data, since you have forgot that you have stored those data, now there is no documentation of that data, right? Because this entire thing is not organized, right? So since you do not know, you have forgot, so you will not be able to use that information, since you do not know what was the name of that information, right? So it can behave like that as well, right? So we have this big risk as well. Then we have this data warehouse, right? Now data warehouse is like an organized library, right? So it's like a central systems, right, where we keep the structure of the data, and we keep organize the data, we keep track what type of data we are putting in, right? So basically we take the data from the data warehouse, we transform the data, we convert those data into a usable or structured form, and then we store it. Basically, this process is called ETL, which means extract, transform, and load. Extract the data from the warehouse, transform it in the usable format, and store it, which is loading, right? Now there are four core characteristics of this data is, again, you can store the data as a subject wise, like you can store the sales data together, you can store the finance data together, right? And then you can also integrate those data from the different sources, right? Again, you can also store a time dimensional data, so it, like you can also store what were the sales in the next month. So basically you can also store the time oriented information over there. And again, this data is not volatile. That means since you are keeping track of each informations, you cannot lose this information, right? Again, it is not changed and not deleted, right, when the new data is being added. So it's like this is what the data. uh, yes, we have the questions. Ah, no questions, right? This is called data warehouse is, right? Then we have the third type of storing patterns, that is called data mart. And you can think of data mart is a specialized type of storage where we store only a one form of data, right? So it is a smaller data warehouse you can think of, right? Or you can also think of this is a subset of the data warehouse, right, which is focused on the single type of information. Let's say that you are working in the sales, so you will be storing all the sales related data. So basically you have created a data mart for the sales data, you will be creating a new data mart for the finance data, and so on, right? And the main, again, we have these data warehouse as well, and then we have these data mart as well. Now the main goal of the data mart is giving access to the specific group of people, and it is easily accessible, right? It is a fast and it has a simplified access. That means you can give access to a specific type of data mart to the specific group of people. There is no need to be any restrictions, right? Now we have discussed all this type of data like data lake, data warehouse, and data mart, right? We have discussed that our primary goal of the data lake is store the raw data. In the data warehouse, we create a enterprise level of structure, and as a data mart, it's like a departmental level of structures, right? Again, as you can see, this data lake can store this all the type of data. Data type, this data warehouse can store the structure and a different fragmented data. and the data mart only store the structured data, right? Again, we have all discussed about the schema and the typical use cases, right? So again, let's discuss about the typical use cases. Who can use the data lake and what are the typical use cases of data lake? So data scientist, data engineer, or all those people can use the data lake. Basically, they need the huge amount of data to work on, right? Then we have the data warehouse. Now, data warehouse will be used by the decision maker people or the data analyst or the business analyst, right? And then we have this data mart. Now the data mart will be used by this specific level of manager, like a department manager or so on, right? So do we have no query? Again, please put in a chat, all of you, if you have any query. Please put in a chat if you have any query. No query? Now we have discussed about how do we store the data based on what type of data we have. So this is the simple schema we have, right? So we have the source, like we have the multiple source of informations, like we have the information in the form of image, text, or other format, or the table or the chart or graph. We store those data into the data lake because data lake can handle all form of data. Then we use ETL, and then we create a different warehouses. Once we create the different warehouses, now from the warehouses we create a different mart, right? And this is the typical process we have for the data processing, right? And this is it about the data analytics and the big data, right? Now, okay, Suganti is asking question, in this storing data, how queuing mechanism works? Okay, so when you are talking about queuing mechanisms, so basically, see, this is like a simple database, right? It is not like when we are passing this informations or when you are asking any query and some other process is already running on, right? So those query will be stuck and like waiting for the informations to be extracted. It is not like that, right? See, these data warehouses and all these are just the database. They store the data and they access it, right? So you cannot pass multiple query, or like basically this session or like extraction of the data not happens in the parallel over here, right? So once, let's say that when you ask any questions, let's say that when you put I want this information of this, right? Or like here we are storing the data, right? So what happens is we store this information one by one at a fragment level. Have I answered you, Suganti? Or are you asking something else? I might have misinterpreted your questions. Now, do we have any query, all of you? Yes, no? Again, since we have few more minutes left, right? So let me ask some questions from what we have discussed, right? Now, all of you tell me, what is data analytics? How would you kind of answer it? What is data analytics? All of you, please answer what is data analytics. Please put in a chat. How do you explain this data analytics? Now, whatever we have discussed, these are the part of analysis only, data analysis only. So what is data analysis, all of you? To analyze data properly, that's very meaningful answer, right? Based on meaningful data. Okay. Future data analysis. Any more answer? Okay. Now we have some meaningful answer. Collecting and organizing and analyzing the data. Predict data trend. Great. Yeah, so this is the answer, right? So we extract the data, we understand the data, and then we create the analysis of it. That is what the data analysis is. Now tell me, what is data mining? We have been discussing about the data mining a lot. What is data mining? How do you explain that? Yes, all of you? Retrieve the useful data. Okay. Any more answer? Any more answers? All of you? We have a lot of people over here. Go deeper inside data. Of course, we do go deep inside the data, right, to analyze it. But how to explain this data mining? Discovering hidden relations. Yes. Discovering hidden pattern in a data. That is what the data mining is, right? So let's say that if someone is asking about what is data mining, it's like we are understanding the hidden pattern of the data. Or when I'm talking about the hidden pattern, this means that I'm talking about we want to understand what is there in the data, right? We want to dig deeper, right? And then we want to understand what is inside. Like, do we have any gold mine in this data or not, right? Yes, extracting knowledge information from the data. Great. Now the next question is, okay, how do you explain classification algorithms? How do you explain classification algorithm? Can you give some example? Can you give some examples of explaining classification algorithms? All of you? Spam and not spam email. Okay, yes, it is correct. How about others? Okay, I'm not asking just the example, I'm asking explanation with examples. I'm asking explanation with examples. How do you explain? Yes, all of you? We have a huge group over here, right? So when we see the participants, right? So like we have this Anjali, Anand, we have this Devi, then we have this Akila, right? Devi Sri, Dhananjay, Dhara, Divyanjali.
I think they are all exhausted after a long day at work.
Yeah, I guess.
So we are just grateful that uh, uh, they are here. Anjali is saying no, ma'am, no, no,
Mm.
ma'am.
Okay.
Basically, if you interact, then the trainer is also motivated to share more insights.
Yes.
Uh, that's the thing about online because they cannot see you, right? It's only with your answers that they come to know how the session has been received, whether the information has been absorbed. So that's why please do interact so that the trainer is also motivated to, give more knowledge and more insights to you.
Yes.
So I think we are almost on time. So thank
Yeah.
you, Raj. If your session is done, is there anything is left?
No, 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 no. It is done.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Raj, for taking that insightful session.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes, you're right. It is two-dimensional. It is a dialogue. It has to be a dialogue. Otherwise, it won't make sense. So I'll just thank Raj for joining us, and I will again repeat my instructions for all of you because you have requested me to repeat the instructions. So attendance is on Zoom. If you join the Zoom, your attendance will be marked. That is one. Second thing is that the feedback link I'll share in the WhatsApp group. Then some of you have taken assessment. So you are asking me when the marks will be uploaded on Atal. Now, when all of you have taken the assessment, then we will be taking out the marks from our agency. So we will be taking out marks on Monday. So I'll request you, and the agency will probably give it to us by Tuesday. So we'll upload it on Wednesday. So that is 11th. 11th February. By 11th February, your marks will be uploaded on Atal. I'll request all of you to complete the course on Future Skills Prime and take the assessment by Sunday so that we can upload all the marks by 11th February. Once it's uploaded on 11th February on Atal, then you can give your feedback on Atal, and then if you have scored 70% or above, you will be able to download your certificate from Atal. Yeah, Vikrant Madnure ji, again I am repeating especially for you. Assessment is online, available on Future Skills Prime. You can take it anytime before Sunday. I will just share my screen again. Please listen very carefully. So this is the Future Skills Prime platform where you will log in with your registered email ID, and your password is also same. Many times I have explained it. Once again I am explaining. Then you go to groups, okay? Last date submitted marks. Marks is not uploaded. Yeah, it is going to be uploaded on 11th February, Chukka Rajashekar ji. It will be uploaded on 11th February. First, all of you should complete your test assessment. Only some of you have taken assessment. You go to groups, then you reload this page, and you will find this AICT Atal Online DAF STEM participants. Madnure ji, please, I hope you're listening. This is the assessment. You can take it even today. But you need to score 70%. So I'll suggest you listen to the trainers. You complete this course and then attempt the assessment so that you are able to score. Divyanjali ji, and for others who are not able to log in, first thing is, I hope you are using your registered email ID on Atal, because if you are using your Gmail ID or any other ID, it is not enabled on the platform. So Divyanjali ji, I hope, yes, on 7th you can take the exam. So Divyanjali ji, I hope that you can use. Marks is not uploaded. I again said, yeah, it is. It will be an MCQ, and in case if you have an issue, then please take a screenshot and send it to this. Divyanjali ji, how can I tell you what is your ID? You have registered on Atal. Please, whatever you have registered with, please use that email ID. You should know your email ID. I don't know your email ID. Okay, if you have completed the course, then please take the assessment. If you have taken the assessment, then please wait till 11th February. I think I've answered most of the questions. And Dipankarji, it's great that you have taken the assessment. Now you just wait and listen to the lectures. And by 11th, you can log in on Atal to check your marks. Password is your email ID which is registered on Atal. Same is the login, same is the password. Email ID is the login ID and the password. Same. And then you can reset your password. I hope I've cleared all your doubts. And now I would like to welcome Mr. Srijit Nair, who is our next trainer. So today I also had a long day. So Srijit, I was telling you about that 5th February event which was at ITS Ghaziabad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had gone there and we had a
Okay.
long dialogue with students, and it was an MOU
Wonderful.
signing also.
Wonderful.
So after that office and then today this. So
So it's a really stretched day for you then.
yeah, it's a
But
long day, but I'm glad that you are here and the faculty is here and we are taking the session. So I'll hand it over to you. I'll just introduce you quickly. So Mr. Srijit Nair is the Chief Strategy Officer at Foresight Foundation, and he has been an ex-colleague at NASCOM as well. And his sessions are very well received because he makes it very interactive, and he is very clued in with all the latest AI trends. and he also, his passion is also, imparting knowledge which is visible when you hear his lectures. So over to you without any delay.
Thank you, Gamna. Thank you. And I can see that the long day aspect, many of the previous, I joined 10 minutes earlier, the previous discussions happening. Everybody had a long day, I believe, lot of such stories. So hats off to everybody here. It's a cool day for those from north part of India, and otherwise also. Hats off. Appreciate that you are all here, still responding and everything. And still, I'll say, just go through the sessions, because the way things are changing, it's amazing, but at the same time concerning. Uh, Even with AI and everything, I was pretty excited since but last 10 days in the AI world has been very concerning.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
Totally agree. Totally agree. I don't know what's happening. I mean,
yeah.
it's
So
it's scary. Yes.
for those unaware, there is small book now. It's a Facebook sort of a thing that AI agents are
For agents.
interacting with. Yeah, interacting with. They want to create their own religion. They are taking SIM cards and calling their creators and everything. So that is happening. There is another Claude bot is one aspect that launched that can take on a completely AI persona of yours. Now, just yesterday, Anthropic has released a initial version of it, Anthropic Claude, the latest version. So that can also impersonate your, like they can take over your laptop and do everything you want. They can just read through the email, respond to everything, even create your AI avatar. And I'm not sure. Next time I might be talking to Kamna, or Kamna would be somewhere, and somebody else is presenting. That's scary. Or say
It's
next time
quite scary.
I'll be somewhere, and my avatar can be taking this session. Even that's
Yeah.
scary,
Yeah,
depending
that's
upon
also
the
scary.
resources. So that way, what happens even for faculty, I'll go to the interactions with faculty now,
Yeah.
that learning what to do has become an absolute important thing, because so much evolution is happening. Today's topic, we are discussing on the problem solving aspect. Tech usage is one aspect of it, but the fundamentals of how to use those systems, and also understanding that lot has been our basic go to solution aspect was always reactive. When जब होगा तब देखा जाएगा, और कुछ ना कुछ we are so resourceful as Indians that anything happens, still we can figure out what to do, because there are either A, B, or C happens, and we always have the expertise, experience coming from our legacy, our previous generation's legacy, and we could make out what to do with the last time arrangements. But now things are changing, because the kind of uh, problems to be addressed are changing. Say till now, how to stop somebody from copy pasting, or say admissions gone wrong, papers are not visible now. Just sit overnight and take care of everything, arrange everything, and you have the system right. The hard disk had gone down, somebody or say team of students coming volunteer, things are sorted out within a day. Those aspects used to happen. Now with AI and advent and the technology aspect, the kind of problems that you would be seeing is you would be the first generation of people who would be going through those problems. So no legacy experiences available for say somebody like me who has been, or somebody like you who has been in this their profession, respective professions, for more than 2 decades, approaching 3 decades. Still, what happens is that say one example of a problem is that uh, previously a employee of mine who knows the basic fundamentals, and who doesn't know but can outshine as somebody taking credit for everybody else's work. It was very easy to identify, because I have been working so many of years. But now it's hard to tell if somebody has been just giving a prompt that give me all the aspects of all the challenges that a 5 year 5 person with 2 years or 5 years in the career would be facing. Draft the mail accordingly, do it in 5 minutes, or create a AI persona which will be doing it automatically, versus somebody who's genuinely doing, trying to learn, and at the same time facing some challenges, and constantly on a week to week basis, every time an error shows up, it's very difficult for me to understand who the real productive employee is. Same would be with you when it comes to students. Same would be, say, for those in admin, handling teams, administration aspects, uh, dealing with, say, the new age annual celebrations, annual events happening. So, lot of which companies or what kind of AVs to go, how to handle social media if something happens in social media, what to do. So those aspects. Say one very new trend is that AI coming and says some event happening, and AI coming and giving all versions of invites to everybody. So nobody knows what time something is happening, what time, even if the event is happening today or not, because so much information, like 200 invites saying X events are happening and this is agenda, flooding through social media because somebody gave some kind of commands just to ensure that that's happening. A lot of problems that need a new age solution. That's where systems thinking comes up. That's where, say, the new era, and this aspect of ensuring that technology is used, at the same time techniques are used, problem solving techniques, and integrated. The turnaround is low, and we know that X happens, technology is there to challenge you, but at the same time technology is there to save you. You creating systems, ensuring that whatever happens, there are teams, there are processes, everybody is prepared, irrespective of what the problem is, everybody is prepared to handle, learn what the kind of problem it is first. That is the most important thing that has come in as of now, and then act on it. So there are certain techniques you might be knowing about. A lot of them might be a new experience for you, but the combination of what we are saying, that is something that just for a revision basis would be valuable, and at least as a group we can look at how to start using the problem solving techniques and set up processes to ensure that future challenges are met. So with that understanding, let me just start my session for today. Give me a second. Yes, so hopefully the system is visible to you. I believe yes. So I'll just move on. So today's session, what is the objective? So a lot of the trainings going on, lot of personal experiences, everything has been towards application of learning to ensure the new tools are oriented, and new you also start with experimenting, learning those tools. So here the objective is bit forward, one step forward. That is, we need to move from experimenting with AI tools and move towards excelling with connected intelligence. That being the case. And how you can do that is by applying structured problem solving frameworks. And those frameworks, using that, not only academic but technical workflows are something that you can build, and those workflows will help whenever a state of panic sets in within your teams. Because without structure, what to do in the last moment, who's in charge, who is supposed to do what, it's not clear. First of all, the panic sets in, and accepting that there is a problem and who will lead it itself becomes confusing. With workflows in place, you would be able to take care of that, because at the onset everybody knows something happens, what to do, at least who to start and who is accountable. So the question, why systematic approach to problem solving is required. And as we had discussed previously, lot of reactive fixes is something that we all have been dealing with. um, for the tenure of work that we all have been looking at. And now, with all this advent, we need a structured technology enhanced toolkit uh, to help us move from the reactive aspect to the proactive, sustainable solution aspect. And this problem solving aspect would be required whenever you are designing curricula, navigating complex research aspects, improving student engagements, streamlining and optimizing departmental and institutional processes. These are aspects that immediately say on site, the first four or five things that you see would be these directions. And furthermore, lot of things as you take on each day in the new age, AI, age of AI, you would be going through a lot of things that fall under these categories or within a new category. So here, AI as a tool versus AI as a solution is something that we need to focus upon. So technical, when we talk about technical upgradation, and within AI ambit, it's not just about learning code or learning how to prompt. It is about building solutions that matter and also ensuring that we can deliver it faster. Say one example of the new age era building solutions would be something like basic prompting. You all, I believe, is there still somebody in the group who is not aware of prompting or hasn't at least once tried prompting? I believe no, but please let me know if we still have such challenges. Uh, whenever say you are since you learned prompting, uh, the focus would have moved from say what whenever a challenge comes up, can we create a prompt or can we have a system ready to ensure that uh, solutions are built and that building happens in just a matter of seconds or minutes, irrespective of the previous challenges of say spending a week or more. Further example would be that previously, most of us, when that learning passion, whenever with that passion, when you go to a class, you see that there are a certain number of students who need a specialized additional hour or so, or specialized type of learning. You are capable of it, but you don't have the time. Everybody is overloaded, administrative and teaching aspect both. So, irrespective of your intention, you might be skipping aiding that student. Now, with a prompting aspect, you might be able to just go through that. Okay, the person is a visual learner. I'm not having a say visual enabled lab for me to ensure that the person has a better scope of understanding how to learn. So can I within the constraint build something? So the solution comes very faster at a very faster pace from a learning language model like ChatGPT, and you are able to deliver things faster. So that is one aspect of technical upgradation that everybody has accepted and it has become a part of our lives. So already the problem solving aspect you all have started doing, and that is one of the example is one of the fastest thing that every one of you would have be doing. So I hope you all agree with that aspect. Anybody would like to just say something? Sharing mode. I just to see if somebody's text chatting. I just shifted. Yeah, back to the presentation mode. But I believe if somebody wants to comment, you can just. I'm this presentation mode. I might not be able to see certain this chat window, but okay. I'll just proceed as is. So now the problem solving. What exactly how we have been defining it is the entire process involves first of all defining a problem. Once the problem is defined, and that defining a problem in the new age is something that we all would be struggling with. And while that happens, The next challenge comes up that in the new age, tech-based challenges, even if it is identified, how to diagnose the root cause. So there is a separate session on accountability in AI. So while going through that, you will realize that once a team is involved with a certain program, so sometime with an AI development product, something happens. The question arises: who is supposed to be responsible? Because there are so many people who directly won't be responsible, but each had a role to play. But setting an accountability is something that we may struggle with. So, in such cases, diagnosing the root causes is something that is very essential for you. Identifying a solution being next, and leveraging technology to use that. And once we have that system in place, ensuring that we learn from the mistakes, we have a solution that ensures that next time the same error doesn't happen. That is how we sustain results. So, the critical aspects: defining a problem, identifying the root cause, identifying the solution, and sustaining the result. Isn't that what the problem solving framework is? So, and that without these particular skills, if you implement anything with specifically with AI tools, it becomes insidious. That is, it uh, reaches a stage where the actual problem might exist unseen to an extent that till that becomes a very critical problem, it might not even be discussed, uh, discovered. That is. So that's why such aspects it is difficult to integrate into existing departmental processes as well, and that's where you need that those problem solving aspects to be taken care of. So we move to why problem solving matters for faculty. So this is the why aspect, and this is how you can also see the gravity of what to do and why systems is required for each of this. One of the aspect is enhancing teaching quality, and that is faculty would be able to apply problem solving approaches, designs, and design clearer lessons. It also helps faculty to identify student challenges, as we just had an example of, and deliver more engaging learning experiences. So, any teacher who leverages AI and identify the challenges with the learning of that particular students, and applies those solutions, can have a better enhanced teaching quality. So the key clear benefits would be clearer lessons and engaging experiences that you can give within your classes. It is also about building adaptability in the changing academic environment. So there are a lot of evolving technologies, diverse learning needs, uh, curricula is changing. Um, all this happening, you need a lot of problem solving abilities to ensure that you react proactively, not reactively. So key benefits of adapting over and over the average syllabus aspects or the regular uh, 9 to 5 challenges you had been facing, and leveraging tech would be you would be more able to be more effective, more proactive towards the responses whenever a challenge comes up. And the third aspect is encouraging evidence-based decision making. So with tech and tools which helps you visualize the problems better, tools which help you note down the solution, set the flow of the problem and towards the solution, learn, use data analytics. Those aspects create decision support systems that helps you take decisions better. Your decisions would be based on evidences that you can generate. Having such systems in place will ensure that you always have a data driven choice that you can make, and you can have better improved outcomes coming up. The next aspect is strengthening student outcome. So while we started with mentioning how your teaching quality can be better when you are using tech, uh, it is also at the same time equally important to understand that teachers who model structured problem solving help students develop critical thinking. So those critical thinking aspect, whenever say one aspect is that when a student comes, if you have a system or a prompt, just a prompting aspect which is very supportive of the syllabus situation that you are in or the student is in, just say use these particular techniques. These are the problem solving methods. Go through it and solve the problem. You'll also be helping students enhance the critical thinking aspects skills within themselves. Key benefits that you would be getting is critical thinking independence and industry readiness in the students of your batches. Last is reduced institutional efficiencies. So with tech-based solutions, you can ensure that there is no lack of coordination within your team, information flows freely, um, who's accountable, who's responsible. Those things are very clearly defined. Everything is visually, uh, the flows and everything is visually presentable for everybody to understand. So it reduces the repeated errors and it also helps streamline academic and administrative tasks. And the key benefits you can derive is the improved coordination and streamlined tasks. So in one line, the essence here is that strong problem solving skills, a faculty having those particular skills, it only not only makes their own lives better, it also helps at an administrative level your institution thrive better in the in this age. It also helps your team members do things productively. It also helps your students also learn effectively. So that's the gravity of why certain aspects or whatever comes to you, the problem solving methods are applied. One core aspect or the core framework within this session that we would be looking at is called PDCA cycle. PDCA stands for plan, do, check, and act. We also know this technique as Deming or Schwartz cycle. And that is what the name of PDCA is. And it is a simple but powerful four-stage iterative model. By iterative model, we mean the cycle time and again can be used to add, say, within the software ambit, this particular framework has been used. It helps you bring, so while you are developing a particular product, bring one feature, go to the entire cycle of planning, implementing it, checking whether it is working, and making it a critical, say, a stable part of that particular app or software. Then adding another feature, going through that iterative cycle. So those cycles in which each cycle you are looking at how you can improve a particular product, uh, PDCA cycle was used. This later was used as a method to ensure that it applies to any kind of problem, because any kind of problem which requires iterative initiatives, making it sustainable, and for any challenges or tech related new age where on a daily basis new something new comes up, every day we have to adapt. So every day a cycle like this will help you update yourself with all the happenings and keep that continuous process in place, ensuring that the solution is always there. So it's a four-stage iterative model. It is a continuous process of improvement. It prevents impulsive changes. How it does that is by using a systematic and diligent approach. So here the number one aspect is plan. It is also known as the why or what stage, where why do we need to look at a problem? What exactly is happening within the problem? So identifying the core problem and ensuring that the measurable goals or the KPIs are set. What exactly is it that you are supposed to do? Why is this problem coming in? So plan is that aspect, whether a problem is regarding what exactly is the reason that a software is crashing, or why exactly is a grade of a particular batch failing, or why exactly is it that there is a delay when it comes to checking the attendance or planning for an event or whatever. So the next stage comes is the do aspect. It is also the stage where uh, we do experimental part, experimental stage. Here, whatever we plan to achieve when it is identified, then we at an experimental level we start working on it. We implement those particular solutions. Once it is implemented, then we check, analyze the results. That is why it is a study phase. It is also called a learning phase, in fact, analysis phase, and where you analyze that particular uh, learning, whatever happened post implementing an initiative, and thereon we start acting on it, making the aspect sustainable. Once it is by sustainable, I mean once we come with an evidence, when we check that okay, we experimented with X solution didn't yield any result, which means act, plan for another solution. Or we implemented X, we found that with the implementation of X, there was a increase in the way the problem was like, or the solution has come up, and that is why we want to make it sustainable. However, it is not that impactful, so repeat that particular process so that next time we experiment it a bit more and check again for the results, and we keep on improving it. So that is the iterative part of the plan, do, check, and act cycle. So we are starting with a basic, very basic fundamental aspect of this particular cycle. So now let's see a few of the examples coming from the industry itself of how these particular cycles or certain parts of it has been used by industries. We'll take the example of Toyota's Kaizen revolution. It is a very good example of how continuous improvement changed manufacturing. So this Kaizen is a Japanese business philosophy. This has come from originated by the Toyota's founder himself. And the guiding philosophy of Kaizen, it says that on a daily basis, keep on improving yourself. There is a book of the same name that you can go through, or just at least the summary of which, use a learning language model to take the summary of which and adapt it to your own basic life. So the basic understanding of this problem is that everyone is a problem solver. That is also true. Say one very basic thing that one of my class teacher used to do when we were in schools. So the most naughty child of the class was made the monitor. Problem was solved in itself because they know how to manage the class. They know how to disturb the class. They also know how to manage the class. So everybody at any field, any level has their own unique perspective. With that unique perspective, they also understand how to come up with a solution. They may or may not. So the understanding, basic understanding is belief in the human uh, capacity to solve a problem irrespective of the position or the experience of a person. So that is the basic understanding. With that understanding, what Toyota started doing is that they promoted the culture where anybody could come up with a solution, and that solution was implemented. If there was a benefit, it was replicated across with all credits given to that particular employee. A very famous example of this is how a production line had a problem. The soap example, that a soap producing industry had a very peculiar problem, that there was a new machine bought in, had a problem with packing the soap, because every few hundred or thousand soaps, one soap wrapper didn't had a soap in it. It missed including a soap. So lot of energy, lot of technology, lot of engineering was put in to identify the problem. Nobody was able to come up with it. The company didn't want it to have a embarrassing situation where a customer receives a box and one of the soap boxes doesn't contain a box. That would be a very embarrassing and media wise a very typical situation. They just wanted to get rid of that problem. So the simplest solution that somebody came up with was, after spending a lot of money and bringing in a lot of experts, the simplest solution was that the line assembly person just bought a table fan, fixed it where the soap line was going towards the final packing, and the soap, the container or the box without a soap just flew away. It was blown away, sorry. So simple solution. So that is a very classy example that everybody uses. So and that also shows how the problem solving aspect, that irrespective of which position you are in, you are part of the solution if you can come up with one. So the core tools of Kaizen again is planning, that is identifying a problem in the example that we mentioned, doing that, implement the change, bring in resource persons, bring in people, apply methods, check sometimes, and do this repeatedly. Let everybody come up and contribute to that. And somebody might come up with something, that is the check aspect, who's applying what, and is it result yielding to a result. If it is doing that, act on it and make it a standard practice. So this is also extends to another aspect of the 5 why. Let me just take it a bit later. I'll also share with you an example of how Nike used the same method. So within Nike, the problem was that the kind of culture or criticism that they were getting over the labor practices, while they were accused that there are low wages being paid in the factories, and lot of emphasis the work conditions and everything. Lot of criticism was coming in. So they adopted a lean methodology where they created a culture of continuous improvement, choosing one aspect at a time, say working condition. So, can the temperature control aspect be brought in? Working shifts, can more productivity be achieved by introducing more machines or creating line assemblies to ensure that more productivity happens with the same number of workers in place? Assembly lines, creating a lean model where one aspect, everybody, each worker is somebody might be just looking at the sole, fixing the sole, somebody would be looking at stitching the top part of the shoe, somebody would be looking at the fitting the lace aspects. So lean methodology was adopted, and that led to more increased production within the with improved factory conditions also. Eventually, from 2015 to 2021, it led to doubling the size of the company. That is another very good experience that industry shares. Third is a medical aspect, where Mayo Clinic had lots of clinics. It came up with a revolutionary cochlear implant that helped uh, children born deaf hear again. So they, since they knew that there are X number of lot of cases that will come in, because they were already registered, they bought in a lot of inventory for it as well. But what they felt is that they realized is that while there was inventory, there were patients, but the entire system was so long that not more than n number of people could be serviced in a particular day. The problem was that any person comes in, a child comes in with the parents, it took around an average 7.5 hours to go through the entire process. It means an entire day wasted. Why it was done so? A typical hospital setup can be, registration is happening at one place. There are three departments at three different floors that everybody needs to see, get approvals, get testings done. Then the person moves to the fitting place. In between, there are lots of records that needs to be taken from one place to another. Somebody misses something, the time is extended, thus wasting a lot of time before the benefit was transferred to the child. So here the Kaizen approach was adopted, and the focus was that let's improve one aspect at a time. So it started with refining the treatments, optimizing specific treatment procedures, of how the data is coming in, whether the data is automated directly. Some doctor takes care of anything, one aspect. The next doctor automatically gets the alert of it using the digital interfaces they created. At the same time, ensuring that what used to take around 15 minutes, with the help of systems in place, it can take lot less time. Also about refining treatment part was that instead of, if there is a sequence of doctors who need to be present, can they all be present in the same, much like an assembly line in the same floor or something, so that moving from one person to another doesn't take time. So these aspects were looked at. Iterations happened every time, what is getting better results. At the same time, next set of iterations for managing patient records, where the effective digital record upkeeping systems were brought in. The real-time updation aspects were taken. Multiple iteration cycles, those were addressed. Reducing waiting time was something that was addressed in the same iterative cycle. Eventually, what happened before it, because of it, is that what used to take 7.5 hours eventually took around 3 hours, reducing the total inventories to be kept by 31%. So the ultimate impact was that this enhanced patient access and positive outcomes came through structured problem solving. So these are three aspects of PDCA cycle that was used by industry. These are examples of how you can also use it. Another example, much relatable to you within academia, can be, say, a scenario. Let's assume that in your institution, you started a particular engineering course specialization. What you observed is that the success rate of the students passing that particular engineering course was reduced. This course was introduced, was very hyped up. Say it can be an AI related course, a machine learning related course, something that the institution was hyped up while it was introducing. But when the results started coming in, there was a decline in the success rate. So here, let's see how the PDCA aspect was applied. So plan aspect, it was about identifying the potential causes. A lot of things were discovered, and eventually that led to the realization that the labs were outdated. So now it was proposed that a new blended learning module can be included with simulations as a solution. So although in a real updated lab, actual exercises couldn't be done, actual learning couldn't happen, but the simulations were available using which a person can connect with the software to the internet within that lab, and that simulation ensured that uh, those exercises are happening with virtual reality. A low cost model works very well. It was introduced. And then the do aspect is about having that new model and implementing it. Within that do aspect, it was not only about implementing, but it was all about also about having a control group also, apart from the section which is using this particular new module. Then check aspect is where the control group and these groups outcomes were compared and the student feedbacks were taken. The student feedbacks then
Are you, hi Sijit, are you projecting any screen?
yeah, I am. Is it not visible?
It's not visible.
Okay.
I think
Okay,
people are just
somebody
saying that.
texted me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not visible.
Let me.
This is one drawback of Zoom. Don't come to know
So
the.
was nothing visible till now? Okay, let me share it again.
Yeah, we'll share this. We'll share the deck with you. So don't worry, we'll share the deck with you. But yeah. I also just realized. Sorry, my bad
Okay.
also.
Yeah, my apologies. I'll just. Um, the screen is visible now.
Yeah, and right
Is the
now we can
presentation
see
visible?
Zoom. No,
Zoom
presentation
only.
is still
Okay.
not visible. Only Zoom is visible.
Okay. Okay. Let me just visible now.
Yes, yes, yes. Now it's visible. You can go full screen.
Okay. So I believe none of this infograph till now was visible.
Yeah, yeah, my bad also.
My bad. Sorry. So these were the problems that I just wanted to share with you. I'll be sharing the same with everybody. But
I'll just request you if you can just quickly run over the things, just quickly.
yeah, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just reiterating again, this session is not about just experimenting with AI tools, but excelling with the connected intelligence. Why it is required? It is because there are certain aspects for which you would be required to use proactive problem solving instead of reactive one. Problem solving is defined as an act where there is a defining of a problem, root cause is supposed to be identified, solution is then found, which leads to a sustaining results. And why this is required for you is that it enhances the teaching quality because you are using new tech and you are adapting to new age skills for teaching better. You also are updated because you can build adaptability in the changing environment that leads to more effective and proactive responses. It also impacts or enables you to encourage evidence-based decision making so that data-driven choices and improved outcomes are available to you. It also helps you strengthen the student outcome because if you are teaching a student to think critically, his skill sets and the industry readiness also increases. So one example is that you can start say once you are adopted to the problem solving methodologies, say the same course at future skills can be recommended. It helps them also acquire those particular teaching critical thinking skills. Reducing institutional inefficiencies is another example where problem solving ensures that you are better coordinated with your team members. Administratively, the efficiency of the institution entirely increases. So the new age faculty is not only responsible for a faculty who can solve problems using systems. They build better learning environments, better students, and better institutions. We then discussed on the PDCA cycle, which is a four-stage iterative aspect. It is a continuous process where it prevents impulsive changes or reactive initiatives, and with by ensuring that everything is systematic and comes with a diligent approach. There are four aspects. Plan is the part where we ask what is happening or why it is happening. Do is that let's come up with a solution, and implement. Let's experiment. Check is where the study phase comes in, and act is where when you realize that okay there is a negative or positive aspect to it, you act on it by say going back to the solution again if it is a negative aspect, if it is a positive aspect, looking at how you can adapt to it. We also discussed on certain industry practices where Kaizen has been used. Uh, say within Toyota family, the factories, everybody was assumed was it was realized that everybody is a problem solver. Treat them like that, and they will come up with wonderful problem solve solutions, and that is how the motto was born. We also discussed on the Nikes aspect where labor practices and everything being criticized. Each aspect was looked at with iterative cycle, planning what to focus upon, so resolving that, acting on it. If there is a positive thing coming up, ensuring and adapting it using a lean methodology, eventually led to people or the culture being people benefiting, the culture improving. The Mayo Clinic aspect was something that we then had a discussion about, where a problem with long waiting queues was refined with refinement in treating processes, patient management, and waiting time reduction initiatives that led to the 7.5 hour initiative taking just 3 hours. So those aspects we just discussed. Now just so these are the aspects I believe it was not visible. So I believe till now we are all updated, and many apologies if just I just missed sharing it. So moving on. Just one second. Yeah. So let's move on and break down this cycle and various tools which can be used under PDSA cycle. So the plan do aspect is one thing that we can look at, and we can look at how the power of visual problem solving works. So whenever there is a complex system or complex process, or say complex problem that is in front of you, uh, just writing it down may not help, because there are certain aspects that just if you go through a linear way of just writing it down, it may not be able to help you identify the problem quickly. The best way is that each aspect of it can be laid down visually as separate aspects, then look at how there is a relationship between each one of them and break down the complexity. So the visual aspect of problem solving is about simplifying how the intricate systems are, breaking it down and establishing workflows to understand what are the critical components and how the relationship between the problem and solution exist. It is also about aligning to a created shared resource, understanding how the flow happens amongst the team, how it is happening and how it should happen, and setting the flow right. It is also about discovering the real patterns that are the actual bottlenecks instead of uh, the perceived bottlenecks. So, an example can be that students are not attending a particular class. So, the question would be on the intention of the student. However, when you break down what exactly are they attentive enough in different classes? Yes. Have the grades been good in different classes? Yes. X class only, there is not that much of attendance. There might be something else in place. You can visually have various components lay down in a visual style, look at the relationship between them, have a pattern discovered, and find that there is a different hidden pattern that still was not discovered. So that is why the visual problem solving aspect works very well. Now there are two, three substructures within those visual aspects that we will be sharing here, a lot of them, but core aspects of which let's discuss on those aspects. Uh, Mind maps. So a lot of mind maps, what are they? It is all about visually laying down what you want to do, what is the situation. It is a very good way to take notes. It is also a very good way to come up with a solution or look at hidden patterns. So what exactly is mind map? It is a diagram in which you visually organize all the information. You always start with a central topic. The central topic can be the challenge, the innovation that you want, the person you want to study, who have each one of us has multiple dimensions aspects, laying down everything, whether it is a person, a problem, or anything, multiple categories, multiple aspects, laying it down in different directions, connecting everything to the central aspect, and looking at the relationships between them. Why it is a good thing? It is because of the non-linear thinking that it promotes. It helps us you brainstorm, break down the complex subjects, and simplify the information. And how you do this is one example presented here. Say new robotic course is something that you want to focus upon. So course objectives, what has been the foundational theory, practical aspects and project works. Syllabus modules, what were part of this, were they complex or simple for the students, how the assessments was taken for a new robotic course, and how the lab equipments, robotics sensor kits and 3D printers, everything, core component of the lab equipment, where they all present. So these visually say, you may need to visually lay this down, because the new robotics course, students might not be passing through. It is one of those hype courses that I mentioned previously. What you come to realize is that while you implement, it is not leading to a passing mark. You lay down all these course objectives, syllabus, lab equipments, and assessments. You come to realize that X is the reason. It might be that lab equipments have not been present, which is reflected in the assessments lab reports. The syllabus also focuses much more on the lab related learning, and the course objectives, the practical skills, the focus on the same, and how the entry eligibility needs to ensure that the particular skills related to understanding for that particular practical aspects was not emphasized. So non technical people who were non technical on those particular aspects also joined in the course. So these can be certain aspects that you can discover while you lay down your challenges in such a way. Now there are certain digital canvases that you can use for mind mapping. So I'll instead of going through all, there are certain intro videos to this. I will share it in the subsequent slides. But here I'll just share with you of the dedicated softwares. Xmind is one of the dedicated softwares that I myself use for specialized as a specialized tool to create mind maps. There are other visual collaborative suites as well. This is something that we normally use. Say, in one of the project that I handle, there are around 15 campsites. So each campsite person, I'll just share, I'll come up with X number of delays is something in happening in the 15 camps. So each one uh, can be invited and collaborate with me to ensure that what is happening in his camp, he can add on to the core problem. So 15 areas, 15 visual cues coming into me, it becomes very easy for me and the entire team to understand who is doing something really appreciative that is yielding to the solution, and where the problems lies. Everything is identified, correlated, and you can come up with a solution. So those visual collaboration suits also are helpful for you when you need a lot of inputs, especially if you want to encourage your students also to come up with a solution. In fact, as a learning tool, also it is a very important aspect. Whenever there is a problem aspect, a capstone project that you want to discuss upon, or any other problem, a software related aspect that you just want to discuss, you can lay down that as a Mural is the particular software that I love to use. It's a free tool. Intro to it, I'll share it in the subsequent slides. You can use Mural, create a problem statement, invite the students to collaborate. Each one gives their own two cents, connect everything to one, and with multiple inputs coming in, the visual slide itself is a learning for all the students, because somebody doing the right things towards solution, somebody who is not having a flow in person, everybody can see what the best way to come up with the solution is, and just being part of that collaborative process itself ensures that everybody learns from the entire experience. So that's why AI powered expansion, modern tools like Lucid Chat, that is also one aspect, but Neural is better now, can accelerate the brainstorming aspect, help generate new ideas, expand on the existing topics, and also help in summarizing a particular learning aspect, a particular chapter in uh, your new course curriculum that has come up. So one of the best aspects also that you will see with students is that those who take notes using mind maps have subsequently better grades. One is that aspect, and the second aspect that I have always observed is the average student who always passes and is just above average, but at the same time is involved in multiple things, and you may not be feeling that they are that attentive in the class. Those are the ones who are best taking notes using mind maps. because they spend less amount of time. They are more efficient. That is why they just note it down. They seem to be distracted, but already their learning phase is much faster because they already have jotted down, understood the complexes, because the visual clarity that they get, and they are much more sparingly available, and seem to be those distracted students in the class, even though they are taking notes properly. So that is one observation that has always been a consistent one for me. Would like to hear from you. If somebody agrees to it, just put it in the chat box. Moving forward, mind map is something that at a problematic level will help you lay down the problem. So the plan stage, the what's and the whys of the problem, all to ensure it is visually laid down, it leads to the identification of the problem quickly, especially in the uh, tech age, the new sort of problems coming in. Involve students also to contribute. They will be able to tell you much more accurately. Once you have those aspects in place, you move from the plan to do aspect, where you need a flow to come up with what to do, how to do it, and what should be the flow to be taken. That is where a flowchart as a tool comes into the use. uh, Flowchart is the way that an entire flow can be visually demonstrated. Why it is very impactful or efficient is that just by seeing a particular diagram, you can see how the person is starting, what are the steps being taken, what are the decisions to be taken. If the decision is positive, how the flow happens. If the decision is negative, how the flow happens, and how the entire step ends. Everything is visually visible. How it is visually visible was because there are specific symbols that you use. There are oval symbols that you use to start and end. This example of the lab equipment checkout process, it starts with the oval shape uh, step, that is student needing equipment. That is why the entire flow started. Once it starts, actions or tasks are something that you mention in the rectangles. So student needs lab equipments, so they fill out the request form. That is the action that the person has taken. That is why it is visible in a rectangular shape. Any action that you or the students want to take, that can be made visible in a rectangular shape. And then move to the decision aspect, where with the diamond shaped decision box. If yes, what the flow will be taken. If no, what is the flow taken, and the loops that it creates, everything being visible. The entire process is laid down. Say equipment, if it is available, the lab tech prepares the equipments, student collects and signs that they are withdrawing it, and start using equipment. And in process, when they return the equipment, they sign in and close the entire flow. If the equipment is not available, they place it on wait list. The student waits till it is available, and when it is available, they withdraw, use, and close. Simple. So such a particular, what exactly when you plan uh, with the plan stage, you use mind maps to identify the problem. The do stage, you can have actions prepared using a flowchart. So once you do that, then you can start using a diagram software and build these particular flowcharts as well. Certain aspects or softwares that I use, Lucidchart is one of the good ones. Visio is part of the Microsoft uh, tool itself. So it's something that anybody who has a Microsoft Teams account would be getting it for free. And it is an integrated one, so you can just use that, export it to Excel or Word or even PowerPoint whenever required. So that facility is something that makes Visio also very flexible to be used within the Microsoft ecosystem itself. Key features are that all these tools come up with rich template libraries. It also has real-time collaboration options available, and integrations in terms of live diagrams. Those are also possible. So once you have this all laid out, another aspect or another diagrams that is very essentially helping you understand laying out. And when the do aspect, this is one fishbone technique, is something that just to understand the problem, and when you implement it, what all was updated, and what led to the problem being solved. Both ways it can be used. Here, where we are showing that the problem was found out. Why? Because pedagogy wise, what were the aspects? Student success and retention aspects, operational, administrative, research aspects, and industry readiness. All, what are the all components, where all are the challenges, everything leading to the particular problem is mentioned in a diagram that uh, is almost looking like a fish bone sort of a thing. The same can be used for the plan stage, then can also be used in the check aspect, where you are checking what all was implemented and what all led to the solution of that particular problem. So this is the fishbone aspect, is another cause and effect. We call it cause and effect diagram, and it helps you see what is the cause that is leading to the effect that can be a problem, or what, when once you check take an action, what is the uh, cause, or what is the input that has led to a solution of a particular problem. That also. So now moving to the next technique that very effectively can be used, 5 why technique. One of the most simple techniques to be used, and not only at a professional level. This is something as a teacher or as a mentor, this is one of the simplest technique that somebody who's coming to you with a problem finds it very effective, just having an interaction with you. One very it's the basic aspect is that of the 5 why technique is that it is an iterative team driven interrogation technique, where you are asking, interrogating the person of how to and helping them articulate how the problem or the underlying aspect of it, what exactly is it that leads to a problem. Eventually, for using that particular question 5 times, the 5 whys, just asking why, the core of the problem or the underlying problem is identified. It was the same as we mentioned previously, using Toyota's model and the Kaizen method. This was something that the owner of the Toyota industry, Sakichi Toyoda, had come up with in 1930s. And this has been one very crucial way that the entire problem solving system at Toyota works even till date. So how it yields result is that once a person comes to you with a problem, say a student is coming up with mostly in panic mode, the simplest thing to you for you to do is that sit with them. Don't be hard on them, but at the same time listen to them and ask why this is happening. Can you just use your own critical thinking skills and tell me why you are panicked as of now? It can be because of the student would have missed a note or something. It's not visible. So why it's not visible? It might have been missed out or something. So how is it going to? Why is it going to affect you today? There might be a class or examination. So why is it going to be a deterrent? Have you been preparing for it previously, or was it just to copy paste at the last moment? You have prepared already. So that is something that the student may realize. And the underlying cause that it's more of a panic than a problem, because the person is already prepared for that particular exam, even though the notes are missing. The person can instantly realize that no need to panic. That can be one thing, where the underlying cause, it's not of the panic, is nothing but just because the person was not able to understand that there is no problem. It can be simple as that with 5 why, or it can actually be leading to a particular problem solution, both ways. So why I am using the first example is that not necessarily every time a problem's underlying cause is a problem only. It can be deep related trauma which for most of the students can lead to a panic-like situation or creating anxiety. So even 5i techniques, as a teacher, you use on students in the right way, in a relaxed manner, that can lead to them realizing that there's no need to panic. That even is a skill set that the student as such can uh, learn, note, and which adds on to their industry readiness. And of course, the other aspect, the core aspect, that 5i, it can lead to solutions, very good emerging solutions emerging. Let's see a few of such examples. So the classic example, the most famous example of 5i is one story that comes from the Washington Monument, where the Washington Monument was, the stones were deteriorating rapidly. And while the team came up, 5i method was used to identify why it was happening. It was felt that harsh chemicals being used to clean it frequently was leading to the stone quality being deteriorating rapidly. And the next question, the next why came up, how to clean why was the chemicals being used? The response was that to clean excessive pigeon droppings. And why the pigeons were attracted to the monument? It was because of the spiders. That was the next why. Subsequently, why the spiders were so abundant? It was because spiders liked feeding on this swarm of flies, gnats, and that was the reason that so many spiders were available in abundance that hid through the cracks all day long. And by evening, whenever there was a swarm of flies, it used to feed on them. And why were those flights attracted to the monument? Because right when from day to the evening, the dusk time, the lights were turned on in advance. That led to the swarm of flies being attracted to that monument. Simple solution was not come up with a quality of chemical free cleaning solution, but it was just to turn off the light for 30 minutes after sunset, so that it doesn't attract the flies to the particular monument. Simple solution. So that led to the stones immediate stopping of the deteriorating quality of the stones. So that is one very fine example, very famous example. Something relatable would be an example of a delayed student project. The problem here can be the final year capstone project is 2 weeks behind the schedule. And why is it behind the schedule? If you ask, the answer might be that the key simulation results are delayed. Why the key simulation is delayed? It might be because the required software package keeps crashing. So that is the further, when you look at why the required software packages keep crashing, it might be because of the lab's computer hardware being insufficient in the run simulation. So this situation is something that pretty commonly happens to technical colleges, because the kind of software that comes up is of the latest version, and it is understood that a student who will be studying for the next 3 years or 4 years in that with that particular software would be going through at least 3 or 4 hardware updates. But the hardware might be in its last stage of update, in such a condition that 6 months down the lane, when the next update for the software comes up, the hardware is not able to take it. So that's a pretty common thing that happens to a lot of institutions. So same scenario, the lab's computer hardware is found to be insufficient to run the simulation. So next, why the hardware specifications? Why was it not uh, able to run the simulation? Because the last update happened 5 years ago. So then comes the root cause, that it's not because of the uh, software being uh, insufficient, or the hardware not being in place when the system started. The actual was that there is no formal process for the annual review of the lab infrastructure. This being identified, then the solution immediate can be to have a simulation or something in place and have a hardware review team instantly immediately taking care of the new acquisitions. But for a longer period, it can also about having a sustainable solution in place. That is a plan, do, check, and act. You act in a way that it's not again going to be something that you purchase this year and 2 or 3 years later again you are in a similar situation. It won't happen if every year before just the session starts there is an annual review system process introduced, so that before the session starts, if any requirement is there, it can be addressed at the onset itself. And that can be in reference to the kind of curriculum that will be introduced this year and the software needs for the same. So that's one very good example of how this particular 5i sort of a method will work for any situation that comes up within your ambit. So now, technology wise, can you use whiteboards, flowcharts, and visual tools to facilitate the 5i techniques? Yes, you can. And even for the previous mentioned softwares, let me just take you through certain examples. I'll just, instead of explaining each of these, I'll just go through the. There's that moment in work when there's too many tools, silos appear. Is the video available to you? Can you see the video? I'm playing the video. Okay. Here, progress lulls and the spark fades. Not anymore. This is the intelligent canvas. Okay. Do in minutes what usually takes hours. With AI that uses your. Okay, okay. No worries. I'll just share it with sound, I believe. There's that moment in work when there's too many tools, silos appear, progress lulls, and the spark fades. Not anymore. This is the intelligent canvas. Do in minutes what usually takes hours. With AI that uses your ideas and content to create things like summaries and get you started on diagrams. No worries. What I'll do is that I'll just share the extra pair of eyes on your work. I'll just share the same with you. Let me try once more. When there's too many tools, silos appear, progress lulls, and the spark fades. Not anymore. Visible? This is the intelligent canvas. Do in minutes what usually takes hours. With AI that uses your ideas and content to create things like summaries and get you started on diagrams. Get an extra pair of eyes on your work with AI sidekicks. When you need feedback. Okay, let me skip this. So what I'll do is that I just want to share certain tools. I'll share the links to these particular tools with you. You can go through what exactly are these particular tools. You just click on the shortcuts and these will be having the links. I'll share the PPT with you all. So what I wanted to share is that virtual whiteboards like Miro are the ones where you can use this particular tool to, okay, I'm back to this. Now I may be able to just take you through this particular link. Let me try once more.
There's that moment in work when there's too many tools, silos appear, progress lulls, and the spark fades. Not anymore. This is the intelligent canvas. Do in minutes what usually takes hours. With AI that uses your ideas and content to create things like summaries and get you started on diagrams. Extra pair of eyes on your work with AI sidekicks.
Okay, no worries. There seems to be some sort of a challenge today. Let me log out and no, I can't share my screen now. Just let me just get back in. Yeah. Yes, Kamna. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't share the screen. Uh,
Okay. Now you can just check.
is it visible now?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay.
It's visible.
I'll just, for the last time, I'll just go and check if this is visible.
There's that moment in work when there's too many tools, silos appear, progress lulls, and
Is
the
it
spark
visible?
fades. Not anymore. This is the intelligent canvas.
Okay, anyways, I'll just go back to the presentation. Oh, it was visible this time. Just go through these then.
Yeah, it was visible. Now
Okay.
it's visible.
There's that moment in work when there's too many tools, silos appear, progress lulls, and the spark fades. Not anymore. This is the intelligent canvas. Do in minutes what usually takes hours. With AI that uses your ideas and content to create things like summaries and get you started on diagrams. Get an extra pair of eyes on your work with AI sidekicks. When you need feedback or ideas for next steps, take back time to focus on real work with AI powered interactive workflows like journey mapping, research synthesis, and sprint planning, all integrated, all together in one place. Innovation belongs on the canvas. There's that moment
That's
in
the
work when there's too many tools, silos appear, progress lulls, and the spark fades. Not anymore. You know the feeling. A
there's
project
another
begins
one.
with excitement, ideas are rushing in, but soon they scatter. What inspired you now feels hard to move. It shouldn't be this way. Xmind brings clarity. Ideas take shape. Tasks align. Plans become visible. And when the work feels too big, Xmind helps you break it down. Simple steps, clear direction. Momentum you can follow. Priorities become clear. Everyone knows their part. Progress is tracked. Timelines unfold with ease. No wait, no friction, just progress that feels natural and results in trust. Project management made simple because everyone deserves smarter work and every idea deserves its chance to make an impact. Xmind, the light way to manage projects.
So we discussed on Mural. That was the first one where you could list everything visually. The second, it's a bit more advanced, the Xmind one, which not only helps you plan the do aspect, the check aspect as well. And even if you want to act, those aspects as well can be taken care of by Xmind. When you say graduate from this, there is another more advanced aspect. Jira is one of those elements. I'll just go through this.
We are a project management solution called Right. When you open it, it looks like this. And with it, you can do this. At Right, we call this the table view. We fill it with tasks that need to be done, choose who needs to do what here, and keep up to date with statuses by clicking on this. Easy, right? We've also got other views, so you can see the project best way that suits you. Because hey, everybody's different. To spice it up, we've got even more features to keep your team covered for when you need to create more with less. Go to Right.com and get started for free today.
So these three aspects that we I mentioned here, one just the planning stage, planning and doing stage, and the entire end-to-end plan, do, check, and act, everything. There are softwares now. Within the limited time, I won't be looking at much detailed aspect of the same, but yeah, those are the tools that you can use. And then the integrated tool that you want to use, there are certain softwares available for each one of these. You can just take a look at, I have just mentioned a few of them. Plan, the Miro is one that I shared. However, Xmind is also one. Lot of other things that are complicated enough. If you want to start with, the Rike is something that we mentioned. Asana is again. So these aspects you can start for planning. Do aspect, lot is available, but Microsoft Teams, I'll suggest the simplest one that is almost available for free for you. Check is when you need to go through a lot of data. So Google Forms, Tableau, Power BI, those are the aspects that comes under the check aspect. And for acting, when you are taking the documentation, you want to set up processes, SOPs, most probably, most importantly. Then Notion is something that is the amazing tool. In fact, Notion, the free aspect comes with AI integration as well. And it's one of the best tools for free available. It also has certain plugins. Just describe a problem that you have, and they might be having a plugin for it. So Notion, go to Notion, install Notion. Plugins, you might look at an attendance system. They might be having an attendance system, a monitoring system they would be having. So a lot of plugins are available that you can just go through and see. So I'll just summarize. The root cause analysis is something that we went through, the five whys and fishbone diagram as the aspects that you can use. Further also emphasize that the structured problem solving, how important it is when the entire flow is required instead of just focusing on ad hoc fixes. Prioritization and evaluation of solutions is another aspect that we discussed through visual cues available using mind map, flowcharts, etc. You can have those solutions or visually laid out and come up with the solution. Howsoever, the continuous improvement mindset and the tool, the PDCA tool, plan, develop, do, check, and act. Continuously using that in an iterative framework is something that will lead to that continuous improvement mindset that you would like to have. So I started with the aspect that how we can look at defining the problem, the root cause, identifying the implementing the solution, and then testing it. So those I'll just close the slides along with the same line. This is one example of the AI course. Say you feel that you come to know that 31% of the goals people are failing, that you are defining the problem. Four problems here we are looking at: admission, visualizing the bottlenecks; marks evaluation, quantifying the inconsistent results; and live projects, core initial requirements. Then we diagnose why these four problems are happening. How you do that? AI courses. What exactly are the fishbone diagram wise the courses and aspects to it? Sort ideas and investigate. Similarly, if you want to look at the admission aspect, you can look at root cause analysis of why, what are the fundamental issues that were taken or not taken care of the screening or eligibility of that particular student when the admission was done, whether it was because of certain technical aspects that needed to be looked at, which were not looked at, because of which non-technical student came up to this course and the course uh, failure rate increased. Similarly, for mark evaluation, you can look at a cause and effect diagram, analyze the relationships between the practical, theoretical, and viva aspects, which aspects they are failing, and why it is happening, and come up with a cause and effect diagram based identification of the root cause. Live projects, if you are having some, then the 5 why techniques, why exactly is within that live project that the quality is hampered. Drilling down, one example we shared is how the lack of equipment was realized. This leads to the identification and implementing solution. Within AI courses, it can be a generative, creative solution that is, uh, you don't have the latest course based experts in place, but industry partnership is something you can look at. You come up with a solution. Similarly, for admission, yeah, it can be a decision matrix because of which you can evaluate the options by criteria of who all should join and what are the interests coming in for the particular admissions. Cause and effect wise, uh, uh, I understand that I am running out of time now, so I just going through the. So there are the next is test and monitor stage 4, where you can test small scale and solutions and look at it with control groups, and then sustain the results with the learnings that is coming up. This is the visual flow that will help you understand and take references for how to take care of such solutions. So with that, I'll just come to the end of the session. My apologies, there was a certain technical aspects because of which more nuances I shouldn't couldn't cover. But yeah, thank you everyone, and please, if anything, I'm available online. So is the entire future skills course. You go through those particular courses, you will see amazing solutions. You don't need to just rely on these aspects. All the particular courses come with such solutions, lot of it in place. Go through it, you will find amazing results. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Rijit, for that session. And I know we just rushed through the later part of it, but I think there's a lot of things to cover, and we only have limited time. So,
Yeah.
in case anyone has any questions, as Srijit suggested, please go through the course. I think most of it is covered there, and Yuva AI course is completed. That is not part of this online FDP. That's a different course. For this FDP, you need to complete Digital Application Fundamentals. So I'll request you to do that and then take the assessment. The results will be available by 11th February on Atal portal. So with that, we come to a close and thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow at 6. Thank you. Bye bye.